wasn't, because I was there in those pictures playing with so that was the winter tour, but it included the summer tour. Yeah. Hari, Hari, Hari. Is there some echo? Yeah, there's an echo. Hari, Hari. Some Gauranga, Gauranga. Hari, Hari. Okay. Seems okay. Oh, got the other mic?
Jai Shri Gurudev Hari Shri Bhagavan Hari Dukhi Jai Nachideva Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Statara Sata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nachideva Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Statara Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nachideva Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Statara Sata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nachideva Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Statara Sata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Tilaka Maharaj Ki Jai Nachideva Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Statara Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharti Maharaj Ki Jai Nachideva Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Statara Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vigyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nachideva Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Statara Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Shridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nachideva Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Statara Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Nachideva Pravishta Paramahansa Srila Gokishora Prabhuji Maharaj Ki Jai Nachideva Pravishta Satchidananda Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nachideva Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Prabhuji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Gauriya Vedanta Acharya Srila Baladev Vijibhushan Prabhu Ki Jai Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Srila Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Taya Ki Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sri Damodar Roy Ramananda Shri Gopal Shri Ravinda Ki Jai Ramacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Ekadasi Bhad Madhavditi Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Antadeep Mayapur Shri Mantadeep Pradyumnadeep Mantadeep Kaladeep Guru Guru Padma Krishna Avdita Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gogovadan Varasavananda Krishna Rajmandala Ki Jai Shri Shama Kun Radha Kun Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Yogamaya Purnamasi Ki Jai Gopishwar Mahadev Ki Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudasan Chakriti Ki Jai Shri Purushottam Jyoti Ki Jai Shri Shinga Bhagavan Ki Jai Bhakti Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai Gantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Vandeham Shri Guru Sijataha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam. Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaura Tvishe Namaha. Nityanandam Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayane Kalo Kalmasha Nashaya Janava Pataye Namaha. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Brindai Tulsi Debai Priyai Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my Koti Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishtom Vishnupad Paramahansa, Asto Tarasata Sri Srila, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. Then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali unto the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. And Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of all of my Sri Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga. And I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavis. So we are now reading, we started yesterday, or day before yesterday, reading the sixth characteristic of devotional service, which is that devotional service attracts even Krishna. And the actual Sanskrit for that is Shri Krishna Karshani Sada. Shri Krishna Akarshani Sada. That means always. Krishna is always attracted to pure devotional service. There's never a time when he is not attracted to pure devotional service. So, we did read already how Krishna is Madan Mohan. And he is the attractor of Cupid. How many cupids does he attract? Only one? Huh? A million? Okay. What? Millions, plural. That's true. Yes, because it says Kandarpa Koti. Kamaniya. Vishesha Shobham, with his extraordinary beauty. Vishesha Shobham. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Banami. There it says Kandarpa Koti. How much is a koti? Huh? No, much more.
100,000 times.
1 koti. 1 lakh is 100,000. And 100 lakhs is a koti. So 100 times 100,000 is 10 million. So he attracts 10 million cupids. Right? He's so powerful in his beauty. However, but Radharani still even more attractive than Krishna is. Why? She can even attract Krishna. It's a big thing in our philosophy, by the way, in case you didn't know. This is a really, really big thing. A big part of Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Yes, we are Shuddha Shaktas, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said. We are the worshippers of the Shakti. Of course, we also are worshippers of Shaktiman, but our ultimate prayoja is to worship who? Srimati Radhika, because Srimati Radhika is the Purna Shakti, and we happen to also fall into the category of Shakti, isn't it? Yes? We're in the category of Shakti. Which Shakti? There's lots of different Shaktis. Tatastha, Jiva, yes. So, we are not Shaktiman. I mean, just a little point to be made about this is that the Mayavadis, they don't even believe that the Absolute Truth has Shakti. They consider Brahman to be Nih Shakti. Nih Shakti. Without any Shakti. Shakti does not exist. That's why they say, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahma. The Absolute Truth is Brahma. Formless. And without any Shakti. But that is not the conclusion of the Vedas. So all Shakti comes from one source. And that is Krishna. Shakti Man, the possessor of all Shaktis. So when we learn that actually we're eternal, tiny, atomic particles of Krishna's Jiva Shakti. That's what we are. We're one single tiny little atomic particle of Krishna's infinite Jiva Shakti. But Jiva means individuality. So every single one of the unlimited, infinite number of Jivas is the same. They're Jiva Shakti. However, because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who himself has unlimited variety within him. Unlimited variety within Krishna. Therefore, everything that comes from him has unlimited variety. Unlimited variety. There is no two jivas the same. That's a pretty startling thing. Of course, in the material world, they have some idea of body doubles or something like that. Or there's some person somewhere who looks just like you.
Doppelganger.
What do they call?
Doppelganger.
Doppelganger. How does he come to that word?
It's German, I think.
Oh, I see. Yes. But even when you look at them, because I've seen some comparative, there was actually a contest to bring body doubles. I looked at that. But most of them are quite different. And even within identical twins, you can also find a lot of differences. So, but even if they look almost identical with their personalities, their entire history of their wandering in the material universe, it's completely unique and individual. So no one knows their own history, but Krishna does. He says that in the Bhagavad Gita. He says that I know all living entities, past, present, and future, but me, no one knows. So Krishna knows us, and no one else can know us like Krishna knows us. And we just happen to be part and parcel of him, but not directly of him, of his Shakti. But because Shakti and Shaktiman are abheda, no difference. Shaktir, Shakti, I forget the verse. Shaktimator, yes. Shakti, Shaktimator, abheda. They are non-different, but they're also Beda. Achintya, Bed, Abed, Tattva. So in that category of Shakti, the supreme Shakti is actually Krishna himself. Is actually Krishna himself in the form of who? Is complete Purna Shakti, Srimati Radharani. Is actually Krishna himself. So there is no difference, but yet there is difference for the sake of tasting rasa. So Srimati Radharani is still more attractive, for she can even attract Krishna. It's a big thing. So therefore, because of that, devotees call her Madan Mohan Mohini, the attractor of the attractive. I'm reading this again because I like this point. To perform devotional service means to follow in the footsteps of Radharani. That's why Hare Krishna. What did Prabhupada say in his Hare Krishna mantra lecture? Hare means?
Pleasure, potency.
Yes. And let's see if we can remember the actual wording, or else we'll have to look it up here. Hare means the supreme pleasure, potency of the Lord, and Krishna means the supreme Lord. I'll have to look it up. But the point is made very strongly by Prabhupada there that we can only approach Krishna through his pleasure potency. You can only approach him through his pleasure potency. That's why Hare comes before Krishna and Hare comes before Rama. I remember in Shamarani's memoirs book, she was explaining how when she first came into Prabhupada's association, and there's such a beautiful way that she related every single day, and how Prabhupada is speaking to her on this and speaking to her on that. But one day she had a question. She always has questions because she's question Rani. The Gurudev gave her that name. The ISKCON leaders should complain that Gurudev changed her name from Jadurani to Question Rani. So she was asking Prabhupada that, is it okay to be envious of Srimati Radharani? Because at that time she didn't understand that that maybe Krishna should be for me, right? But then Prabhupada said, oh, no, understand that you cannot approach Krishna except through Radharani. Understand, little girl? Huh? Yeah. So, to perform devotional service means to follow in the footsteps of Radharani. And devotees in Vrindavan put themselves under the care of Radharani in order to achieve perfection in their devotional service. In other words, devotional service is not an activity of the material world. It is directly under the control of Radharani. In Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that the Mahatmas, or the great souls, are under the protection of Daivi Prakriti, the internal energy. We quoted that verse, Mahatmanas tu mam partha, Daivim Prakritim ashrita. So, Daivi Prakriti means the internal energy, which means Radharani. So, being directly under the control of the internal potency of Krishna, devotional service attracts even Krishna himself. There's the formula, right there. Someone tell me, what is this formula? What is being explained here? Why does devotional service attract even Krishna himself? Because it's the internal energy, Radharani. And so being directly under the control of the internal potency of Krishna, devotional service attracts even Krishna himself. That's why. That's why. This fact is corroborated by Krishna in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 14th chapter, verse 20, where he says to Uddhava, this is one of the most famous quotations to Uddhava, "My dear Uddhava, you may know it from me that the attraction I feel for devotional service rendered by my devotees is not to be attained even by the performance of mystic yoga, philosophical speculation, ritualistic sacrifices, the study of Vedanta, the practice of severe austerities, or the giving of everything in charity. These are, of course, very nice activities, but they are not as attractive to me as the transcendental loving service rendered by my devotees." Good quote, huh? From Krishna himself. So if there's any question whether or not there's anything that can attract Krishna as much as devotional service, bhakti, Krishna's answered that question here. So for the rest of our lives and all of eternity, we should never wonder, is there anything else? Is there any other way? No. Only pure devotion. How Krishna becomes attracted by the devotional service of his devotees is described by Narada in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 10th chapter, verses 48 and 49. There, Narada addresses King Yudhishthira. This is after the Prahlad Charitra in 7th canto. Now, the next 4 chapters or so are all about Varnashram and the supreme perfection of life. And he's speaking to Yudhishthira in his court. So, Narada addresses King Yudhishthira while the king is appreciating the glories of the character of Prahlad Maharaj. A devotee always appreciates the activities of other devotees. Yes? Yes. There's no envy. If someone has, because we will always be surrounded by personalities who are superior to ourselves in many ways. Right? But whatever a person possesses, they've actually earned that in previous lives. whatever they possess. So therefore, a devotee never has any envy. So a devotee always appreciates the activities of other devotees. Yudhishthira Maharaj was appreciating the qualities of Prahlad, and that is one symptom of a pure devotee. A pure devotee never thinks himself great. What did he just say?
Pure devotee never thinks himself great.
He always thinks that other devotees are greater than himself. The king was thinking, Prahlad Maharaj is actually a devotee of the Lord, while I am nothing. And while thinking this, he was addressed by Narada as follows. My dear King Yudhishthira, you, the Pandava brothers, are the only fortunate people in this world. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has appeared on this planet and is presenting himself to you as an ordinary human being. He is always with you in all circumstances. He is living with you, and he is covering himself from the eyes of others. Others cannot understand that he is the Supreme Lord, but he is still living with you as your cousin, as your friend, and even as your messenger. Therefore, you must know that nobody in this world is more fortunate than you. But Maharaj Yudhishthira was hearing about Prahlad Maharaj, and he was thinking that Prahlad Maharaj, what was he saying? Prahlad is actually a devotee of the Lord. He's actually a devotee. I am nothing. In the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna appeared in his universal form, then Arjuna prayed, my dear Krishna, I thought of you as my cousin brother, and so I have shown disrespect to you in so many ways. This is when Arjuna was standing, palms folded, in front of the universal form, and he was shaking and trembling. And now fear came in him, because if you see Krishna's universal form, the jiva is so tiny that it's completely, what's the word? Terrorizing, overwhelming. It's just overwhelming. But Arjuna has this very intimate relationship with Krishna, his cousin brother. But now he thought to himself, my dear Krishna, I thought of you as my cousin brother, and so I have shown disrespect to you in so many ways, calling you Krishna or friend. And then he also told, I've sat on the same level with you, had so many different interactions with you, but you are so great that I could not understand. So that was the position of the Pandavas. Although Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the greatest among all greats, he remained with those royal brothers, being attracted by their devotion, by their friendship, and by their love. That is the proof of how great this process of devotional service is. It can attract even the Supreme Personality of Godhead. God is great. Yes? Yes. Allah Akbar. They're correct when they say that. Allah Akbar. Allah is great. God is great. But guess what's greater than God? Devotional service is greater than God because it attracts him. So people who are not in devotional service, they can never understand what great value there is in rendering service to the Lord. End of chapter 1. Characteristics of pure devotional service.
And just remembering what Gurudev used to say, even if we want to understand and appreciate and love Krishna, then through Srimati Radhika's only thought is Krishna. Going through her and Krishna in the most deep way.
Yes. You just reminded me of something that I'm going to read before we go to chapter 2. It's from Srila Maharaj's book, Sri Guru and His Grace. Yes. That classic, all-time, greatest of all books. Okay, here it is. In the final chapter, Yeah, this is good. Good topic. Service of Radharani. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Ki Jai. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, this is in the course of his describing where is the final, ultimate place where we will attain our highest destiny, our highest good fortune. Where is it? And he goes all the way through, from the very beginning of understanding the nature of the Atma and so forth. He goes all the way from the beginning. So now he has come to the point of service of Radharani. So, Radha Dasyam, the servitorship of Srimati Radharani, is said to be the highest attainment of the living being by the school established by Mahaprabhu. It is the gist of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is Krishna's own version. He says in Srimad Bhagavatam 11, 14, 15, and this is spoken to Uddhava, Na tata me priyatama atma yonir nashankara na cha sankarshano nashrir naivatma yacha yatavavan. O Uddhava, neither Brahma nor, there's a mistake here, nor Baladev, nor Lakshmi, nor even my own self are as dear to me as you are, O Uddhava. And that Uddhava glorifies Vrindavan, the Braja Gopis, and Radharani in this way. This is actually a very famous, he's repeating what he repeated decades before. When he was preaching in South India, he told the story of how he presented this point, that Krishna is telling to Uddhava that no one is as dear to me as you are, Uddhava. So that places Uddhava in such a high position. But then, Uddhava, what does he say? If no one's as dear to Krishna as Uddhava, Krishna says, even myself is not as dear to me as you. Then, what does Uddhava say? He glorifies the Braja Gopis and Radharani in this way. The famous verse. Asamaho charanarenu jashamaham shyam Vrindavane kimapi gulma latoshadinam. We're all sitting right now together on the banks of Uddhava Kunda as we did the Govardhan Parikrama, and now we've walked down the little stairs to Uddhava Kunda, and we've opened up the chapter of Uddhava visiting the Braja Gopis and what he told at the very end. And then after we do that, then we're going to walk the rest of the way to Radha Kunda. Remember Uddhava Kunda? And you can look across the field, not too far away, and there is the very attractive architectural structure that has been built there on Kusama Sarovara. Yes. So, here he says, Ya dustyajam swajana maryam patam chahitava bejur mukunda padavim shrutibir vimrigyam. Here Uddhava says, the gopis of Vrindavan have given up the association of their husbands, sons, and other family members, who are very difficult to renounce. And they have sacrificed even their religious principles to take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, which are sought after even by the Vedas. Shrutibir vimrigyam. All the Shrutis are seeking after the lotus feet of Krishna. So now Uddhava puts forward his request, his prayer. Oh, grant me the fortune to be born as a blade of grass in Vrindavan, so that I may take the dust of those great souls upon my head. So, is this authoritative, this statement?
Yes.
Most authoritative in Srimad Bhagavatam. One of the highest points of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam is when Uddhava prayed these prayers at the end of 2 months with the Braja Gopis. Gurudev went over this in many of his festivals, actually. That mood of separation, mood of the Braja Gopis being shown as the highest. Now, Uddhava has shown us the high position of the gopis. And between all the gopis and Radharani, there is also a categorical difference. That was proved in Raslila, when Krishna and the gopis openly displayed their transaction of heart, with that divine rasa flowing and inundating all directions. Radharani was also there. She gave the highest contribution to the common rasa vilas display of the Parakya Madhurya rasa Paramur mellow. She gave the highest what? Contribution. Then suddenly dissatisfaction came in Radharani's heart. She began to think, am I also counted in the common flow of rasa? Some reaction came within her mind, and suddenly she left. After displaying her peculiar type of super excellent dancing and singing, introducing a flow of a new type there, suddenly she departed. She left the circle of the rasa dance, and Krishna suddenly found Radharani is not here. It is tasteless. The flow of rasa was there, but the gist, the quality, is a little down. So Krishna felt, why is it not so satisfactory to my inner heart? He felt some ebb in the tide. And then by inspection, he found that Radharani was absent. Disappointed, he left the circle of the rasa dance and he went to search after her. Although the Parakya Madhurya rasa, the highest mellow of conjugal love and Vrindavan and the gopis, they were all there. But still, there is a categorical difference in quality between the other gopis and the particular camp of Radharani. In every way, there is a categorical difference, both in quality and quantity. So Jayadev Goswami, in his Gita Govinda, has described how Krishna left the circle of the rasa dance. This is the verse. Kamsarir apisangsara vasana badha shrinkalam radham adaya hridaye tatyaja vrajasundari. Lord Krishna took Srimati Radharani within his heart, for he wanted to dance with her. In this way, he left the arena of the rasa dance and the company of all the other beautiful damsels of Vraja. Jayadev has described in this way that Krishna left the circle of the rasa dance, taking Radha within his heart. Krishna departed in search of Radharani. Her position is so exalted. It is said, Lord Krishna's transcendental desires for loving exchanges could not be satisfied even in the midst of billions of gopis. Thus he went searching after Srimati Radharani. Just imagine how transcendently qualified she is. Shata koti gopite nahe kama nivapna. The other gopis, they numbered so many, but in quality, they were a little less. Their total combination together could not satisfy Krishna. The qualitative difference was there. That is found. So the Rupanuga Sampradaya, the followers of the line of Sri Rupa, are those who have the unique taste of service in the camp of Radharani. In that plane, there is no entrance of any mundane exploitation or renunciation, and not even legalized shastric devotion. In that plane, none. The highest kind of devotion is not controlled by any law. It is spontaneous and automatic. Sacrifice to the highest degree is only possible in that camp. The highest kind of divine sentiment is distributed from the camp of Srimati Radharani, and that can never be compared with any attainment hitherto known, even in the eternal factor of time and space. That's it. See how Srila Sridhar Maharaj? So, then, there is another stage for which we should be prepared. That's not it. There's another one. Yes, if you read this on your own, you'll see how beautifully Srila Sridhar Maharaj composes this whole comparative analysis. So, why should we try to enter into the camp of Radharani? This is the question. What do you think? Why should we try to enter into the camp of Radharani?
She is most pleasing, so to be under her shelter or in the guidance of her most intimate servants would be the highest position that we could be to be pleasing ourselves, because she is most pleasing.
Yeah.
Because by serving through Srimati Radhika, the reciprocation, the highest flow, comes from her to us.
Yes. You've read this before. Why should we try to enter into the camp of Radharani? Should we think that there, in that better atmosphere, we shall have Krishna's presence more confidentially? Should we think that? Oh, I want to go there, because then I'll have very confidential association with Krishna. Should we think, I will have contact with Krishna very intimately? Should we want to enter into that camp? No. We want to avoid the connection of Krishna. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't this called the Krishna consciousness movement? So, we want to avoid the connection of Krishna, but we want to concentrate on the service of Radharani. Now comes the question, why? Why? What more benefit is possible there in the service of Radharani? Here it is. If we approach Krishna directly to give service to him, we shall be losers.
He says that?
Right here. We shall be losers. Radharani's service to Krishna is of the highest order in every way. It's not just of the highest order in some way. No. In every single way, it's of the highest order. If we devote our energy to help Radharani, our energy will be utilized in her service. In this way, we will serve Krishna with her service more enhanced. And then the reciprocation will pass to us through her as our reward. That will be devotion of the highest type. In parentheses, Mahabhav. So, the general inclination of the Sakis, the confidential maidservants of Radharani, is not to come in direct connection with Krishna. They avoid that. But still, it is the benevolent and the generous nature of Radharani to connect them with Krishna on some plea at some time or other. But their innate nature is always to avoid Krishna and concentrate on the service of Radharani. This is confirmed in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 8. That's Rai Ramananda Samvad, verse 209. Radhara Swarupa Krishna Prema Kalpa Lata Saki Gana Hoy Tar Palava Pushpa Pata. By nature, Srimati Radharani is just like a creeper of love of Godhead. Krishna Prem Kalpa Lata. Lata means creeper. And the gopis are the twigs. Sakigan, Hoi, Tar, Palava, Pushpa, Pata. The gopis are the twigs, flowers, and leaves of that creeper. Eternally, the twigs, flowers, and leaves sprout from the creeper of Srimati Radharani. She is the trunk, and they are branches. This is their relationship. Yet still, there is another higher thing. Wait a minute. Can that be? We just heard this is the highest. But he's saying, yet still, there is another higher thing. We are known as Rupanuga, the followers of Sri Rupa. Why? Why are we known as Rupanuga? The service of Srimati Radharani, it eliminates everything, even Narayan, to go to Krishna. The service of Radharani eliminates everything, even Narayan, to go to Krishna. There is the Krishna of Dwarka, there is the Krishna of Mathura, and the Krishna of Vrindavan. Then again, in Vrindavan, where there is free mixing without hesitation in other camps, Radharani's camp is the highest. Eliminating all other camps, direct service to Radharani is considered to be highest. But still, there is another point. Who is Rupa? Rupa Manjari. Generally, the hierarchy in the spiritual world is eternal. New recruits, that's us. New recruits can occupy a particular rank of Manjari, assistant, in Madhurya Rasa. And the leader of the Manjaris is Sri Rupa Manjari. What is the special feature in the Manjari's camp which is not found amongst the Sakis, the girlfriends of Krishna? First there is Radharani, then the camp of her right-hand personal attendant, Lalita. Then under Lalita there is Sri Rupa Manjari. What is the unique position of the followers of Sri Rupa? The new recruits can attain to that status. Now, the privilege of this Manjari class we are to conceive most respectfully and attentively. But the clock has come.
No.
That was mic worthy.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Rupa Goswami Pada.